Are you prepared for a catastrophic grid-down event? As we venture into the unpredictable world of the 21st century, this question is becoming increasingly relevant. Catastrophic grid-down events, whether caused by natural disasters, cyber attacks, or even solar flares, can plunge our society into darkness in an instant. The conveniences we take for granted, like refrigeration, internet, or even running water, can vanish, leaving us to fend for ourselves. In such scenarios, preparation is not just a matter of comfort, but of survival. It's about having the foresight to stockpile essential items that can sustain you and your loved ones through days, weeks, or even months of hardship. It's about having a plan, being resourceful, and maintaining a level head when everything around you seems to be falling apart. Now that we've set the stage, let's dive into the 8 critical preps you need to stockpile. First on our countdown is food, an essential for survival. Now, when it comes to food stockpiling, diversity is the spice of life. It doesn't just keep meals interesting, it ensures you're getting a broad range of nutrients. Think about stocking up on grains, beans, canned fruits and vegetables, dried meats and nuts. Meals ready to eat, or MREs, are also a good option. But remember, nutrition is key. Opt for foods high in protein and fiber that will keep you feeling full and energized. Next, consider shelf life. Your stockpile should include foods that can last for years without refrigeration. And don't forget about storage. You'll want to keep your food in a cool, dry place, free from pests and moisture. Containers should be sturdy and airtight to prevent spoilage. And remember to rotate your stockpile regularly to keep it fresh. Remember, variety and nutrition are key in your food stockpile. Next on the list is water, an often overlooked yet vital survival resource. In a grid-down scenario, your access to clean, drinkable water could become severely restricted. So, it's paramount to have strategies for both conserving and purifying your water supply. Start by storing as much water as you can. The general rule of thumb is a gallon per person, per day. However, in a crisis, you'll want to stretch this as far as possible. You can conserve water by repurposing gray water for non-drinking uses, such as flushing toilets or watering plants. But what happens when the stored water runs out? That's where purification comes in. Boiling is the most reliable method, but it requires a heat source and fuel. Alternatively, consider investing in water purification tablets or a good quality water filter. These can turn potentially dangerous water into a safe, drinkable resource. Water is life, and life is water. Make sure you have enough. Our third essential prep is medical supplies. When planning for a catastrophic grid-down event, it's crucial not to overlook your health needs. Having a well-stocked medical supply kit can make all the difference. Start with the basics. This includes bandages, antiseptics, tweezers, scissors, and pain relievers. These items can handle common injuries like cuts, burns, and sprains. Additionally, a digital thermometer can be a valuable tool to monitor for fever, a common symptom of many illnesses. But your medical supplies should also cater to the specific needs of your family. If someone in your household has a chronic condition, such as diabetes or asthma, ensure you have an adequate supply of necessary medications. Remember, in a grid-down situation, pharmacies may not be operational or accessible, so having a stockpile of essential medications could be life-saving. Consider also including items like vitamins and supplements to support overall health and immunity. In a grid-down event, your health is your wealth. Moving on to our fourth critical prep, alternative power sources. When the grid goes down, the lights go out. But with foresight and preparation, you can keep the power flowing. Solar-powered devices are an excellent renewable energy source. These include solar panels, solar-powered chargers, and even solar-powered radios. On sunny days, they can provide a continuous power supply, and many of these devices can store power for use during the night or on cloudy days. Generators, on the other hand, are more traditional but equally vital. They can power larger appliances and systems, providing comfort and normalcy during challenging times. However, generators require fuel, making it essential to have a safe and efficient storage system in place. Whether you opt for solar power, a generator, or a mix of both, securing alternative power sources is key to maintaining critical systems and devices when the grid is down. Remember, power gives you options, and options can keep you alive. Halfway through our countdown, we have communication devices. We're living in an era of digital connectivity, so it's easy to forget that in a grid-down situation, your smartphone might be as useful as a paperweight. So what's the plan? First, consider a hand crank or solar-powered radio. This can keep you updated with news broadcasts, weather alerts, and emergency instructions. It's the most basic form of communication, but it's a lifeline in a crisis. Next, think about a satellite phone. It's not dependent on local infrastructure, so it can work when other devices fail. It's a more expensive option, but it can be worth it for the peace of mind. Lastly, don't forget about good old walkie-talkies. They're portable, durable, and don't rely on cell towers. They can be a reliable way to communicate with your family or neighbors over short distances. In a crisis, communication is key. Don't underestimate the value of staying connected. Next up are essential tools and equipment. In a catastrophe, the right tools are not just handy. They can be the difference between life and death. Imagine the utility of a simple multi-tool. It's compact, yet it houses a knife, a screwdriver, a can opener, and more. It's a survival kit that fits in your pocket. And then, there are tools like a sturdy shovel or a hatchet. They can help with building a shelter, gathering firewood, or even self-defense in a pinch. Don't forget about fire starters. Matches and lighters are great, but they can run out. A magnesium fire starter, on the other hand, can provide you with thousands of sparks, ensuring you're never without a vital heat source. And lastly, consider a hand-cranked flashlight or radio. These don't rely on batteries and can provide you with light and communication even when the power grid is down. Tools don't just make tasks easier, they make survival possible. Our penultimate critical prep is personal defense. This is perhaps one of the most crucial aspects of survival in a grid-down situation. When law and order break down, it's imperative to ensure the safety of yourself and your stockpile. It's not about fostering fear or paranoia, but rather about being prepared for potential threats. Personal defense can take various forms. It could be learning basic self-defense techniques or familiarizing yourself with tools that can be used for protection. Keep in mind, defense is not only about physical confrontation. It also involves strategic planning, like creating secure storage for your supplies or setting up an alert system for potential intruders. Moreover, consider developing a safety plan that includes evacuation routes, safe zones, and communication methods. In desperate times, people may resort to desperate measures. Having a solid personal defense strategy in place can provide peace of mind and, more importantly, save lives. In a grid-down scenario, your security is paramount. Finally, our last critical prep: essential books and reference materials. As the saying goes, knowledge is power. But when the grid goes down, your digital libraries and online resources may no longer be accessible. That's where traditional printed books come into play. Consider stocking up on comprehensive survival guides that cover a wide range of topics, from first aid and wilderness survival to edible plants and basic mechanical repairs. These guides can be invaluable in a crisis situation, providing step-by-step instructions and practical advice. Additionally, detailed maps of your local area, topographical maps, and road atlases can be crucial for navigation and planning, especially if GPS systems go offline. Also, don't forget about entertainment. Novels, crossword puzzles, board games, these can provide much-needed distraction and stress relief in challenging times. Remember, in a grid-down situation, the knowledge contained in these materials can mean the difference between surviving and thriving. Knowledge is power, especially when the grid goes down. To wrap up, let's recap the 8 critical preps for a catastrophic grid-down event. Firstly, we've discussed the importance of a diverse food stockpile, ensuring you have enough nutritionally balanced food to last. Secondly, we've highlighted the necessity of water conservation and purification methods, as water is a vital survival resource. Thirdly, we've underlined the significance of having both basic first aid items and specific medications to cater to your family's needs. Fourthly, we've explored alternative power sources, such as solar-powered devices and generators, and how essential fuel storage is. Fifthly, we've talked about the critical communication devices needed to maintain contact with the outside world. Sixthly, we've delved into the essential tools and equipment that may become life-saving. Seventhly, we've touched on personal defense, reminding you of the importance of protecting yourself and your stockpile. Finally, we've recommended essential books and reference materials to have on hand when digital resources aren't available. Remember, preparation is key. Stay safe and stay prepared.